What's up, guys? How we doing? Let's go. I gotta get Rojas in here. How we doing, guys? How's everybody? Hello, sir.
What's going on, everybody?
Well, let's clean your makeup off the lens there a little bit. You know what I mean?
Just up on Instagram?
Yeah, you just jump on Instagram, jump into the live feed. Got Berto jumping in. Sorry, we had a walk in with some questions, so there we go. Oh, we can see your beautiful face. What's up, everybody? John Simtez, Alex Rojas, have some surprise guests. Brady Jocelyn and Brad Berto going to be jumping on a little bit. We have training in like 10-15 minutes. We were supposed to start like 20-30 minutes ago, so they're going to be in here for a little bit. I'm going to let Alex do his thing and ask them some questions, and then Alex and I will continue after that. So welcome to the podcast number, I don't even know, insert here. We're still downloading and getting things into
We're here. Hello.
Brady.
Hey, Brady.
What's up?
So, Alex, you and I chatted the other day, and we've been talking about some stuff. Baseball season's fully going. We are now into a couple months of the season, plus we have training going on now. So we have Major League Baseball. Everything is going crazy, right? In what you've seen inside the game, right? Like, what's going on? How do we sum up the first week or so of the season?
First thing is, what's going on, Berto?
Berto.
What's up, Berto? Two big things that I've noticed is, number one, early we're hitting the shit out of the ball. Guys are putting up top exit velocities like real early. Shohei Ohtani, like 2 weeks into the season, hit a 119. Like, we're like, guys aren't, I don't want to say aren't supposed to be here at this point. I don't think we've had this amount of measurement at this point to maybe know how good hitters are, but I'm on Baseball Savant right now. And so I'm looking at barrels per plate appearance, right? And just some of the top guys are kind of, who you think? Tatis, Ohtani, Donaldson, Salvador Perez, Aaron Judge, the typical dudes, right? But some of these exit velocity maxes would kind of shock you. Like Joey Votto, he's at 114. He's like 40 years old, right? He's got to be an older guy, right? Then you get guys like Giancarlo Stanton, who's already at like 122. We already know that in his history, right? But you see in a lot of these like different body types that are really trying to hit the ball hard. And I think that's becoming a lot more apparent. Like, who was Tyler O'Neill before last year?
Very true. What?
What did you say, Bruno?
Yeah,
he is. He is, right? But I think the number one thing that I'm starting to notice, is bat path. Lot of good bat path to start the season. Like, guys are on it. And so I want to ask Berto and Brady, what have you guys noticed? Because I noticed, like, bat path for sure seems to be on the money. Like, guys aren't like Stephen Kwan, like 39 consecutive swings without missing. Like, that's a crazy, like, foul tips, foul balls in play. Like, the dude's just so, like, guys I feel like they're getting the barrel on the ball really efficiently right now.
Right. I think more guys are starting to get into that more like line drive bat path, kind of matching that pitch plane more so now than like before that. They're kind of not. They still want that launch angle, but Juan Soto said it too. Is like get on top of the ball. Mike Trout, big get on top of the ball guys. Big, hit balls hard, and you get and good things happen, right? And one thing we've kind of seen with our hit tracks, right? Yeah, everyone wants to go like the hit tracks. Everyone wants to go and hit bombs on the hit tracks, right?
Right.
But like the common graph that we see when we go to the dashboard, and like it's in between certain launch angles, that's where our highest exit velos are. So we did see that the 30-degree launch angle, which is a pretty high fly ball, that's what gets the most distance, right? And that's like when we kind of get the most homers per se. But the highest exit velos are around like 10 to 25. You know what I mean? So those are lineas. Those are lineas. And I think more guys are saying that. Like Stan's 116 was a freaking shot, was a freaking line drive. Vladdy hit one over 100. That was a high pitch, got on top of it. Line drive, went out. Teoscar Hernandez hit one over 100, the oppo, and it was like an elevated line drive.
Stanton's launch angle, not to interrupt you, but to further your point, 10.3 early in the season. That's a missile. This high off the ground, like that is.
Yeah, those are missiles. Yeah, he also hit another line drive that got out in like less than a second. It was oppo, and it was over. It was like 105 off the bat oppo. But it was a linea.
Yeah.
It was a linea.
Yeah.
So I think being able to like stay there, have that approach, right? And also, who said it? Dante Bichette Senior, right? He put out a little video talking about like staying up the middle and then creating loft that's just catching a little more out front, which is great, right? Which is great, but like that it takes longer to get to the ball. You have to make a decision sooner, so that's why like big home run guys who try to hit home runs all the time, they end up chasing and stuff like that. Versus you got guys like Mike Trout, Juan Soto, just trying to hit low line drives at the middle, but then they end up being a little early, and now it's a 400-foot bomb. So
I like that, yeah. Oh, Brady, I can't hear you.
Yeah, I can't hear you, Brady.
Yeah, you're muted, Brady.
Oh, it's his headphones.
Just take your headphones out.
Just take your headphones out.
Yeah.
To keep the air alive. So to further your point, I love Vlad Guerrero.
Can we hear me?
I've said it on the podcast before. He was a poster that I had. His son, his average launch angle, 9.4. Right? That is a missile. That is shoulder height.
Yeah. He's still leading the league in home runs.
Right.
Weird.
Can we hear me? Am I in?
Oh, I can hear you.
Yeah, you're in.
Yeah.
All right. I was saying the guys are preparing much better too. Like you see these big slugger guys with the mobility to keep that rotational power on the opposite field. Like that Teoscar Hernandez home run, that the rotational power to the other side was insane. So like, yeah, these guys are big and strong, but they're also insanely mobile. So the rotation is going further, it's going faster, and they're not so worried about hitting those sky balls out anymore. Right? So you got guys
Is
hitting
Teoscar still for the Blue Jays?
Yeah.
Okay.
That oppo tank was insane.
He's a Tater guy too. Shout out Tater.
Yeah, big Tater guy.
How about that ball that Vlad hit down the right field line on Garrett Cole, right? Like that's Garrett Cole's getting roasted for tipping his cap, but like, you know, Alex, I've said this so many times. When he played out of Mexico, I saw that all the time. Literally in my life, there's a Venezuelan right-hander. I know him still. He hit a triple off me, running out of the box on a 94-mile-an-hour backdoor two. Just like caught it so deep and hit it right by the first baseman, right down the line. And that thing's got to be 100, right? Mm-hmm. But like running out of the box, like I'm not gonna hold my feet and stay in my stance. I'm gonna be athletic and not get beat away on this. If I hit it foul, I hit it foul.
I love that you said that. So, not to, again, I'm not going to go crazy on these immortal types like Stanton and Judge because, like, how many guys are, built like that, right? But guys move their feet in the box a lot more than coaches necessarily tell them to, right? But if you watch a guy swing in the majors, like, his feet aren't rooted into the ground to where they're not going to move. Like a good athlete, like they may shift like his base. Like, yeah, his feet are like stomping, but like watch good athletes, their feet kind of move in the box a little bit, where sometimes I see these kids come in Little League and their feet are like bricks in the ground and they're not even moving. And I'm like, bro, it's okay to move your feet. Like what John told me, just get your toes pointed that way. It's an easy way to say it, right? Get your shoelaces that way. But still just getting there, the idea of pushing into the ground with your feet, but not grabbing into the ground like a scared animal, like gripping in, it's such a hard thing. But using Stanton last night, what's that announcer's name who said it was gone and then it
Yeah, I don't know
was
what
hilarious.
it was, but yeah, that was brutal. What's worse?
Sorry about that.
They're doing
You
that.
can see that, guys. Say that again.
So what's worse, the announcer doing it or the guy sitting next to you at the ballpark? Yeah, ball.
Well, then you get your phone tossed into the game like the Phillies fans. Did you see that?
No,
Get
that was-
your shit thrown into right field or wherever,
Hey,
right?
mind your P's and Q's, kid. You better
So
mind your P's and Q's when you're in Philly.
just look at his feet, Stanton. He's a big guy. Yeah, there's some issues maybe with his swing, but he's still a pro and he's going to be great. He's always going to hit probably 260 or higher until maybe he gets a little older. He's a dog. He's a good ball player. But watch his feet in the box. They still move, right? Like he's not this. Frank Thomas was a mountain, right? So I was looking up some Stephen Kwan stats, right? Frank Thomas once saw 150 pitches before he swung and missed. For a guy with 500 home runs, that's pretty good.
That's
right?
that's like the pinnacle. That's insane.
That's
He was
really,
the
really
big
good.
patience guy.
Right? So it's okay to have your feet move because I think it actually allows you to adjust and hit a dude like John who's got something that's running with movement way out of the box. You got to, be an athlete. Be an athlete a little bit,
So, I mean, one thing I do with my hitters, especially with guys that chase a lot, right? And this happens more so in live AB type things, right? So with less than 2 strikes, I kind of tell them to kind of stay in that solid position as much as they can, right? Because, right, the more you kind of move out of that position, like if the pitch takes you out of that position, it's most likely a ball or you're not on time for it and you're not getting your best swing off, right? But with 2 strikes, you kind of got to do what you got to do. Yeah, so it doesn't matter. And then, there's a video out there of Kike Hernandez and Jose Altuve, 2 really small, smaller end guys, especially Altuve. But there's a video of Kike stepping out, and Altuve does his big crossover close-off step, and they're hitting that same pitch, low and inside pitch, and they're both hitting out to left field. It's both a bomb to left field. So who's really right in that situation? I get a lot of parents say oh, he's stepping out. I'm like, it's not the end of the world. It's literally not the end of the world. It's Kike Hernandez, big step out, Altuve, boom, but they both have the same pitch with the same result. So really, who's right? Well, what's right?
Right.
I mean, in the game, does it matter? He hit it out. Does it matter? He smoked it. Does it matter?
Brady, what do you think about crossing over and stepping out?
I was actually going to bring up the fact on that you brought up John as a pitcher, right?
Yeah.
I feel like, talking from personal experience, I find myself trying to be athletic through balls, especially with 2 strikes. And being more adjustable with the direction of your power is for me.
Yeah.
So I'll break bats off the end, but it's a foul ball. I'm still in the count. Right. Just the other day, John posted it 5 different times on all of our stuff. I snapped that bat, right? But that's a pitch that I normally wouldn't be able to get to if I was just planted.
You got to have the proper bat path, and sometimes you got to be a good athlete to get the barrel on that ball.
Yeah, for sure. We praise guys for being athletic through the box all the time. So.
What do you mean by that? I know what I would say. What do you guys mean by be athletic in the box?
So against John, some of our college guys especially, a cutter that starts middle and breaks to the outside black, and they're trying to stay in a 2-strike count, right? They let their weight kind of take them that way, and they actually get the barrel out there.
Right.
It's huge to stay in the count.
I talk to my guys all the time about sometimes you have to let your weight direct your swing. Don't fight it. Just let it happen.
Hey, you guys cheat across the plate all the time, all right? Just talk about it, okay? You just dive right out there, try to dump that cutter over there first base.
That's what I'm saying. That's what you
We
got.
all
Hey,
know it.
the best hitters in the game, when it comes to contact, a lot of them dove. Tony Gwynn, big diver. Pete Rose, he was a diver. Right, guys that are just putting their nose on the ball and they're just I'm not missing this thing. I'm just staying right here.
Oscar Sinai, our guy, he's probably has the best hand out of everybody that we've seen. Yeah, he doesn't have as much juice, and that's where we're kind of working on him. But dude, Oscar, you do the 2 hardest things that it is when it comes to hitting. One is being on time and putting the barrel on the ball, right? But he I played with him a lot, but he will get it done in the game. 2 strikes, I'm not worried, right? Especially John's faced him plenty of times, so is Taylor, and he will just put that barrel on the ball and smoke that line drive up the middle. wherever it is. But he's a big diver, and then just boom. Like, but he also, I mean, he does have a good awareness of like when to like shut it down. And when
Yeah, it's an art form.
Right.
Because
yeah.
Oh no, well I was gonna say, like, if you're diving every time, right, it does take away from keeping your shape, which allows you to have that leverage. Right. Where a guy like Stanton, he doesn't move at all. He's like, his body is like a rock, and he just, it's like a wrecking ball, right? Like from a crane. Like a crane doesn't lose its structure; it stays in that position.
Yeah.
Don't get in the way of that wrecking ball.
Yeah, and he's also like facing the wrong direction. It's very interesting.
The kids ask me all the time, "Hey, coach, how does he do it?" I'm like, "Well, number one, he's LeBron size, so that helps. Like, he's huge. Like, outside of that, I don't know, man. Like, I'm not that big, and I never hit like that. So, I think the easiest way would be like it keeps him closed because he's able to generate unbelievable amounts of torque."
Yeah. All right, Ro, it was great talking to you. I gotta go. We gotta.
All right, Berto. Later, brother.
Thanks, Berto. Appreciate it, buddy. We'll
continue this for sure. For sure. See you guys.
All right.
Number 3. And then
kind of going back to Stanton, in that position that he's in, he's so strong that he can fight through maybe a subpar position.
Yeah.
So like that guy, yeah, he's tall and he's a big dude, like genetically, but he's also incredibly like in the gym strong. So he can muscle his way through swinging a giant bat and whole plate.
Yeah.
Big muscle guy.
Like I can't at all.
I would like to see him just like go train in the mountains, like Rocky style, and then come back just shredded, real athletic, like 220.
So this is a Russian boxing podcast?
Yes, he's got it. For some reason, he just had an epiphany, and he did his winter training in Big Bear or wherever, the Adirondacks in New York, like somewhere.
Like if you guy's functional, he's a freak of nature. Like
I'm sure he's hyper functional. Like a lot, like what you said, a lot of these guys are super mobile now. Like a lot of these guys, like what's Stan gonna do in the weight room? That's like, yeah, I got to get stronger for next year. Why? Like, you're so strong. You're the strongest. Like, maybe Prince Fielder might be the only guy who could lift more weight than him, but I bet Stanton can, like, do pull-ups and muscle-ups, and, like, he's probably super athletic with his body, right? That takes mobility.
Yeah. And, like, John, this is a good question for you. How do you go about facing a guy with, like, an unorthodox setup like that? Like, how would you go about facing Stanton?
Okay, well, you know, the stance only tells so much of the story, right? Like, so with Stanton, right, how do they beat him? Well, they try to run things up inside of him because it's very far him. It's hard for him to keep inside balls fair, right? He catches hanging breaking balls and he wrecking balls them. The fastball's away, he shoots. So, like, if I'm facing Stanton, I've got to figure out, like, it doesn't – if I'm going to the AB from the other night, like, he rarely cheats first pitch against a new guy. So he would take first pitch against me, and I would probably just show him a cutter to be safe. And then I would probably front door cutter on him just to, like, see what he does with it because he's probably going to rip it and kill the third base coach. And if I hit my spot. And so, you know, it turns into a chess match on where you think they are. I mean, if I can get any information, because he does step sometimes too, right? Like, he does have a small move, and he does kind of have like a little bit of a tail where, you know, you can see him wag it and you know he's going to get aggressive with it. So, you know, cutter, slider. Once again, just live or die probably by that. Brady, you've caught it enough. You know, if we get that far in 2-2, then I'm going full cheese mode right after that.
Yeah.
Full cheese.
Yeah, wild. Like the amount of conversations we've had, like me being your catcher, about how we go about facing certain batters, it puts me in an absolute different planet when I'm hitting, right? Because I know exactly what he's looking for, but if I make any kind of adjustment, I'm stuck in a hole because, like, I'm trying to adjust what I'm doing. He's picking up on it right away. Like, the amount of conversations we've had about how fast I'm moving my hands on, like, a simple waggle getting ready, and that's how he decides to pitch me is insane. Like, that's the level that they get into as pitchers facing different kinds of hits. It's way
yeah.
Is this moving?
No,
it is not. Is this moving?
Yeah.
Yeah, you look like an excited dog.
Like you
Yeah.
literally tell me you're swinging. It's so funny how many kids don't even see it. They don't even see it. Right?
It's almost like you're fly fishing. Like you're just baiting it, and then the fish gets excited. It gets
like when
fucking
kids
ready.
look down, like away from the guy after throwing a pitch or whatever. Like I'm like, what are you doing? Like their reaction is the best part. It is. Brady's seen me in college games and all over the place, and if I get going and I know what you're doing, like if you're taking first pitch on me, then it just turns into a real fun game, right? And now I can start being ridiculous to the point now you're focusing on what I am doing with my words and my body and my antics in between pitches instead of literally running the same sequence to every person and they're not paying attention because I'm like blowing kisses at you. And they're like, this guy's blowing pisses. What is he doing? And I'm literally like, cutter, heater, slider, cutter, heater, slider, cutter, heater. Like, is anybody going to pay attention?
Yeah.
It's all about the patterns.
That's okay. That's something that I wanted to ask you coming into this. How, like, approach-wise, I know there's each end of the spectrum, like there's the jump a certain pitch in a certain count. There's this is what he threw me last time. This is what he should throw me this time kind of guy. And then there's the one pitch, one spot kind of guy. Ro, where do you stand on that kind of stuff?
Okay, so I think that so it's like a super layered question. There's a lot of ways I could talk about that. But like the easiest way I can talk about it, it's like you need like an acronym to think about it. And I use this in jiu-jitsu because it's a game plan. Like if this guy does this, this is my primary, right? So it's called PACE. Primary, alternative, right? And then there's contingency, then there's emergency. We don't want to get to emergency. I don't want to get there, right?
That's good. I like the pace. That's
right?
really good. I love that.
Right. Shout out to Gorilla Jiu-Jitsu, Dave Camarillo, right? He came up with that. He's got a guy fighting in Bellator. If you're in the Bay Area, go to San Jose this Friday night. JT Donaldson's going to choke the shit out of somebody. It's going to be awesome. He's a good guy.
Hey, why don't we do that for live at bats? Like, hey, hey, Alex Rojas is going to be doing live at bats. He's going to absolutely donkey some balls.
Dude, that would be great for like an ESPN, like watch this game. Stanton is probably going to murder a hot dog vendor with a foul ball. You don't want to miss this.
Yeah, that's perfect. We're like, really going to find out.
Let's go.
Whoever the ball person is, now we say ball person down the line, we're really going to learn how their ground ball skill is as they catch 130-mile-an-hour ground balls ricocheting off the wall. Like, we look for that. We're like, not an athlete. Definitely not.
That's when the Giants get their younger ball crew out there. They can't have the old men out there. The Yankees come to town. Hey, we need those 40-year-olds that, they ain't got nothing.
Oh, one of the first games I went to in Tijuana, I'll never forget it. There was a popcorn vendor. And this guy hooks this ball, and they don't have near the nets they should or anything, and gets it deep up into the concourse. And here's our guy right here just with his arms up. And he smoked him in the back, and popcorn exploded everywhere. And I was like, yeah, definitely. Like, yeah. Crazy. You're going to turn your back to that guy hitting?
Dude, that would be great. And then, like, you see, and even though he wouldn't do it, but Rob Manfred comes out. He almost killed a guy. Did you see that? You got to watch this shit.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. Yeah. We'd fix the whole
like
game.
White.
Some real TikTok marketing here. Like this.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like, take a page out of the UFC and what they've done. They're going to be on ABC in, like, 3 months. Are you kidding me? Like, that's incredible. Anyway, so, hold on. Can I say the pace thing again? Yes. Primary, alternative, contingency, emergency. So let's say I have like a first at bat, right? So I've never seen this guy before, right? All I know is his scouting report, right? He's a right-handed pitcher. He's 6'2", 2 types of fastballs, 4-seam, 2-seam, slider, curveball, changeup. Typical white dude, whatever. But he's like 90 to, let's say, 94. He's your typical, like, your independent ball guy, right?
Your typical white dude, 99.
I just had to say it. I'm sorry.
Slider, curve.
Just like he doesn't have anything spectacular. He's not like, yeah, dude, I throw this wild splitter that I've been throwing for 19 years. because I just figured it out one day, right? Anyways, the point that I'm trying to get at is like, imagine like, so this is good. Look at the screen that we have right now, and it's kind of like the show rectangle, right? So let's use this as the strike zone, right? So I have a primary objective, which is like, when I have no strikes, my primary objective is what I'm good at. What am I good at, right? And then you insert what you're good at, right? That's your primary objective, right? Alternative, right? So let's say I get to 1 strike, right? And again, nobody's on, nobody's out. This is like a perfect situation. Like, it's just leading off the game, let's say, right? Now, if I have an alternative, now it's like, okay, so I've seen his pitches, or maybe I took a big swing, right? Took a hard cut, right? Now I've played a card. Now I have to have an alternative, because he's like, got some wisdom like John. He's like, oh, you like that, right? Well, now I have to have an alternative approach. Okay, so for me, I'm going to be honest, if I have no strikes, I'm going to try to take you Yahtzee if it's a good pitch. That's just who I am. Then 1 strike, okay, let's go line drive in the gap. Let's find a gap shot. Let's try to work and find the gap. But that has to be your alternative, right? What are you looking for to do that? For me, I wouldn't mind anything down and away, because I know I can stay down on it and hit it over that second baseman's head, or hit it through that 4-hole in between the first and the second baseman, maybe even play the line. I knew I could do that, right? That's what I'm sitting on with 1 strike. That's my alternative approach. Then you've got your contingency, right? That's your, okay, I got 1 strike on me, but I don't maybe feel comfortable against this guy, right? My contingency may be, all right, now I'm really trying to sell out on like just focusing on one part of the zone, not a specific pitch, but like anything up, I'm swinging at it. And I could look awful, but just like, hey, what if he hangs a slider up and I take a hack at it? Now you barrel it up, right? Then you have emergency. Okay, you got 2 strikes, right? So you're just trying to stay alive. What's been the approach that's kept you alive in the past, right? And then build off that, because like, you can't have a different emergency approach, I believe, to every guy, because then things might get complicated. He's lost in the ether.
I think someone's calling you does that.
No. But let's say like your emergency is not something that you want to get into and mess around with that. I think that your emergency is something that you just got to hold on to and be like building off of that. From like, hey, with 2 strikes, I choke up. Hey, does it work? Not really. Okay, stop. Like, maybe go the opposite way. Hey, with 2 strikes, I back off the plate or I get closer to the plate. You just have to start having some different, I think, ideas to your emergency plan. But your primary, your alternative, your contingency, that can all change, right? That kind of stuff. But it all depends on, the first thing is, what are you good at? The pitcher. What are you good at? Because then that'll tell me, like, what am I going to be looking for primarily?
Right. Which is a complete lost conversation. Right? Yeah. Like, the amount of times people practice fastballs only and that's all they hit, it's just wild to me.
Or just middle on the tee, and it's just like, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? That's not.
I threw. I couldn't. You know how hard it is to throw it middle. If you really think about it, like to perfectly middle the ball, definitely not easy.
Start middle.
Yeah,
that's hard.
I mean,
like physically, you'd have to spin it like so.
Yeah. Just homie from Tennessee that gave up the 101 home run to center field. Ouch.
Brady, did you see that?
I did. John came in and played like 5 times. It was awesome.
That ball was like, I was watching on my couch, just watching Wheels, and he hit it, and I just threw like my pillow or something. I was like, we'll smell you. Again, that would be exciting. Like, you put this guy up there, like, he can hit anybody faster than a speeding bullet. You show him hitting 102 into right center field. That'd be great. Brady, did you hear my emergency part?
Yes, I heard like the first little bit of it.
So like, we don't want to change that approach. That would be it. So like, my first 2 pitches, but I'll have 3 categories for it, right? Primary, alternative, contingency. I can change those pitcher to pitcher, moment to moment, right? Those are easier, but like your emergency is probably going to stay the same because with 2 strikes, you know what you're trying to do. I'm not trying to get out.
Yeah.
Okay, like that's step number 1. And then I was talking to John, like choking up, that's step number 1 for some guys. Does it work? I don't know. Okay, well, you should start to pay attention to that because 2 strikes is a situation where most guys, their average goes down. Other guys, maybe their on-base percentage goes up because maybe they try to draw walks a little bit more. Maybe they take their own bat out of their hand with 2 strikes. I don't know.
That conversation is so weird and dated, too, because the 0-1 to 1-0 batting average percentages are the assumption that it's a heater every time. So your game that is completely flawed.
Mm-hmm.
I do not have to throw a fastball.
You don't.
I do not. Brady saw me the other day, right? I will do this in the middle of the game, especially like against college guys. I'll just throw you curveballs. I don't even care if I walk you.
It's incredible.
Literally throw 6 in a row, and then what it does? It doesn't even do anything to that guy at that time because he's trying to figure it out, right? What happens is everybody else is watching that shit. They're like, oh, this dude will just throw whatever the fuck the whole time. You know what I mean? And if you have that, hitters going up there, and they're just like, well, I just watched him throw.
What's your primary plan now?
Yeah. He threw all cutters to this guy. He threw all sliders to that. This guy got all curveballs. This guy got low. Like, people are writing this down as you're playing and trying to pay attention to it. And if you can be as possible, they're just like, I don't
right.
know.
So think about what football coaches do. Football coaches script like the first 50 plays of a game, right? To where like you get the personality of a team. But if a team came out first play, they're running a flea flicker, and then the next game they're just running like a quarterback draw, and then the game after that they're punting on first down. You're like, what the fuck is happening here? Like, who are we playing, right? But then that sets a precedence of like, we're kind of on our back foot to start.
Right.
That's not what you want. You want to be on your back foot to start. You want to be aggressive.
Like, as a hitter, you haven't been truly just bamboozled until you see your first 3-1 curveball.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, I actually, the first time I met John, we played against him. And I'm working count, so I'm hitting pretty well for the season in the summertime or whatever. And this guy just cutters us to death.
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
I flew out to the track twice. I'm just in my own head, just absolutely pissed. And then this guy throws me a 3-1 curveball in my last at bat of the game.
Hey, no hitter through 8, by the way.
No hitter through 8. Let's go.
Yeah, just a no through 8. Just a random old guy shows up to a college league game and just, hi.
I mean, thank God I had the peace of mind to be like, hey,
the part is about it. What's that?
Thank God I had the peace of mind to like come up to him afterwards and be like, hey, what are you doing different? Because something ain't adding up.
And I was like, yeah, I just know who you guys are.
Yeah.
You're all in college, so you're the same hitter to me. Makes sense.
Some programs, though, right? They have this that approach mindset. This is what we do. This is how we hit.
Remember, I told you about one of my best college games. I recognized the entire team, the whole weekend, took the first pitch. And if you threw a ball, they took till you get a strike. They would literally stand there with this like really robotic type of thing and be like, eyes track, eyes track. And I'll be like, what is going on? Like, are you trying to give me a strike? Anyway.
There's a program in Texas, Tarleton State. They've got a couple of national championships, but they've run the same kind of program. And I remember how frustrating it was. Just like the pace of play gets just destroyed when teams have this like global approach. Like, did you guys ever see that video of Joey Votto never stepping out of the box against Derek Lowe?
Yeah.
Have you guys seen that?
Yeah.
That's one of the best videos of gamesmanship against a guy like a John who might be like, oh, these guys love to just take 30 seconds in between. I'm just like, ready to go right when you get the ball. No, let's go. Pace of play. Yeah. Come on, let's go. Right?
I yell. I will definitely yell on the mound, and there's not an umpire that I've met yet that's used to it.
Right?
I'll be like, get in the box.
But the counter, a guy that never gets out of the box,
Yeah, they think I'm talking to the hitter. Ah, Blue, do your job.
Come on.
And
Let's go.
in the box. The game is in the box. Let's go.
That's an approach to a game. Like, okay, so coaches that are out there, players that are out there watching it, that's an approach to the game. Like, you there's one of two ways to approach life. You can be aggressive or you're not. So there's more aggressive approach, right? So,
or you're more.
but the point that I'm trying to make is like that idea of like a guy's pressing the action. If you know a pitcher's uncomfortable, you can just not move and you can press the action. It's just like hitting off a pitch machine, right, Brady?
Oh,
like
yeah.
The thing's on a timer. Like, you're not stepping out. You're just like, all right, I fucked that one up. Here we go. I'm going to come back and get this one, right? Like, you're not stepping out 30 seconds. Let me undo my bet. Like, sometimes you just got to roll, man. That'll throw a pitcher off. Like, wow, that guy didn't even stop looking at me. Yeah. No, he just took the pitch and then just stayed right here. Come on. Just right here. That's
how many pitchers will freak out and fall back on a fastball at that point?
Oh my God, or bean you because they're so bamboozled by the idea that like this guy didn't even take his time to think.
Yeah.
No, I don't have to. You're an idiot.
100%.
Like John tells a story all the time about when he was in high school was the baiting of pitches in the on deck circle and throwing guys off. That was huge. Just taking a mammo hack and then just sitting first pitch curveball and just hitting it out.
Mm-hmm.
Because something like with all the simulators and like on both Rapsodo and HitTrax, curveballs get hit harder.
They do.
Like the spin's already in the correct direction, right? All you have to do is match the plane. If you match the plane, you're already at what, a 27 to 30 degree launch. So if you square something up, it's going. And if you can find a way to bait that pitch, if the pitcher's got a mediocre curveball and you bait that pitch from the on deck circle, like 5-6 pitches before you even get to the plate, you win as a hitter. It's wild to me.
He's our hitting instructor.
He is.
You know, it's fun because we teaching kids the action, not the swing, is like the next chapter of the situation that you just don't see that enough. You see it all the time online. This cue, that cue, this drill, that drill. I'm like, yeah. If I know to your point, right, homie, right, our boy with the Guardians, that extremely accurate with his barrel.
Even
right?
Quan.
Right. Finally swung and missed. Did you guys know what pitch it was?
No.
Nasty splitter.
Yeah.
Nasty splitter. And then you look at all the balls he hit, all heaters, all level swing. I'm going to predict he's going to see the old curveball, slider, change-up combos. That's what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
All the hit were on fastballs.
Yeah.
Your leadoff guy, sure. Max Scherzer's going double-up change-ups to start the game the other day. Like, what?
That was insane.
Like, you're mean. You're a mean human.
But that's I think that's the light that you got to shine. You got to talk about those things because you're seeing too many guys that just don't get what we're trying to do here, which is like we're trying to get away from the idea that like this is a gentleman's game where we're wearing ties and top hats. It's like we're competing. Like sometimes I think that like the whole idea, like Eric Sim, he had a great take on the old drag bunt from Patricio Dubon, right?
Yeah.
And he's, to sum it up, he's like, what unwritten rules? Like there's literally no rule that's written down that says you cannot drag bunt when you're up X amount of runs, right?
I said this too. I said the same thing too. I said that dude didn't have a hit yet, and if he got one hit right there, he changes his average and stays in the big leagues.
Yeah.
But he don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
If he continues to go down that barrel, whatever, they're not going to take that hit away from his stats. Right?
Not at all. Not at all.
I mean, same lines. You got two guys going absolutely yammo off Will Myers on the bump.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. What are you just supposed to swing hard then? Hey, this guy's floating up there, slow pitch softball style, right? Don't even swing hard.
Hey,
Just
this
get
is
up.
completely
Hey, let's
given
speed up the game.
on this game.
Nobody wants balls hit really far anymore. I like just the fact that we're already putting position players in on the first week of the season makes me
Wow.
So this brings up my favorite topic in all of baseball, in all of sports. There needs to be a knockout rule that's established. Like, once this happens, the game is over. Like in a fight, I knocked you out or you tapped out or something. Because we get to points
I'm saying
where
15 runs. You're down 15. Let's go.
Yeah.
dudes, like
15
even
seven,
football
wrap
games,
it up.
dude, you're up like 6 touchdowns. I'm good. I'm all set. Let's bounce.
Yeah.
Like,
Duke now done playing Alabama. That's what we're saying.
yeah. Like,
Game's over. Nobody needs to get hurt.
can we just play one half of this game? Like, do we need to run this back for another 25 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is? No. We got the gist.
Yeah.
Right? So and even in pro sports, I would love to see that because, like, I love the game of baseball, but the length of time that it takes to determine who is the best, I feel like, takes too long some days. When, like, other days, it's like, no. Clearly, these guys, they won today. We don't need to have any more contests. Let's take a nap. Let's come back tomorrow, run it back. We'll try it again because this game's over.
Yeah.
There needs to be some kind of a knockout, whether it's 15 runs or like, hey, are you warming up a position player? Call it this game. Oh, you don't want to lose? Bring in a pitcher, compete, right? Like something like that. Once you start getting weird, like, just like what you're double switching twice. Why? Like you're just doing weird shit, right? You're moving your DH. Like
I'm so happy double switches over because that's like one of the dumbest things. Just hide.
It helps the Dodgers win more games. I'll tell you that. Dodgers are going to win a lot more games.
Yeah, and hey, MLB, good job. We got more runs, right? But now we got pitcher. We got backup left fielders pitching. What are we doing?
Like that's what I'm talking about. Like imagine a sport where like you were starting to put your point guard at center because all of your centers fouled out. Like I think at that point, even the guys in the NBA, they would dribble intentionally slower. Like they'd be like, let's get this clock going, right?
Yeah.
Because they even realize like we got to get out of here. This is a wrap.
100%.
Who's barreling in the background, by the way?
Like all of the efforts to speed up are in the wrong area.
Yeah.
Like throwing a play clock is kind of brutal.
Yeah. I did see a dude get struck out in college like a week ago or 2 weeks ago.
Listen, I'm going to fight you.
Yep.
Dude. Stay in the box.
Brutal, dude. I would have been hot.
Put one foot out, adjust your gloves, and that would be it. Now they're David Ortiz walking all the way off the dirt into the grass, adjusting their 18,000 shots. Like, come on, man. Stay in the box. I'm over it.
I'm in on 15 after 7.
Oh yeah, 15 under 7.
Yeah.
That should be like a new Twitter page. Like,
I'm even down for hey, after 9 innings, you guys get one fucking out. All right, like you get one out. We're gonna start speeding this up. One out guy on third base to start every.
Hey, can we just stay out here for the next 2 outs for 2 innings? Out.
Then we'll get 3 tries.
Yeah. You can get 3. We'll get 1.
We're gonna have 2 batters at the same time. You don't know who's swinging. We're gonna have 2 guys. One in each box.
No HBPs. 0.
Yeah, 0. You have no idea. And you can walk both guys, then one goes to third, one goes to first. That's how we start.
Definitely.
See, that's where we're heading. Like, if you want to get ridiculous with it, then let's just do some crazy shit. We're going to have 3 center fielders and 2 first basemen. There's going to be physically 2 first bases for one guy.
Bases. Yeah. Well, my friend, we have reached it. I think we're going to have to time this a little earlier next time, but it was kind of a great day for me anyway. But I'm glad we got to jump back on this. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to our podcast, we're on our YouTube channel. We also are on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts.
Oh, shit.
Video version here. Yep, video version here, audio version, podcast, Spotify. Check that out. We really need everybody to spread the word, put some stuff out there. We have an Instagram page for this podcast as well. Let's Win a Ball. If you have any questions, DM us, let us know. Like, follow, you know what to do. So love you guys. We just want to talk baseball and help with the game to the direction it's going, because I feel like it hasn't changed in like 40 years. So, and it maybe hasn't changed in 100 years. I don't know, but I definitely know I see some people doing some different. So it's easy to point that out, you know.
Hey, Brady, good talking to you, buddy.
Yes, sir. Hey, I'm trying to go out there and swing it with you, man. Or you got
Hey,
to
let's do it, guys. Real quick before you guys head out, if you're playing in the Southern California area, go check these guys out. And I said Southern, I didn't say San Diego. Go check it out for a day, right? If you're 60 miles away, just go drive, check it out, right? They're doing a lot of good stuff. If you're living in the Bay Area, right, come find me at TPC. We're in Livermore. Anyway, awesome talk with you guys today. I appreciate your guys' time so much.
Definitely. 100%.
Later, guys.
later.